What are your thoughts on pharmaceuticals?
Pharmaceuticals. I think pharmaceuticals are just out there to ruin the whole ideology of herbal lifestyle.
Okay.
Having to sebenzisa umkhalagane to use your to clean your system. You'd rather go to a schedule 0 drug for you to be more comfortable and at the same time release your dopamine. Because remember, the main point of which we cleaned up, which we back to my senses and self. That's why we clean our systems. Our stomata, they become very much risky. For an example, let alone our stomata, going to deeper pharmaceutical drugs such as your methadones, as I just said. Instead of quitting drugs or any narcotics, if one may say, on a pure mindset, the way which is better and which is more sacrificial and more postulate based in terms of fundamental principles on human survival. Basically what happens is it's better to be off drugs without drugs. Pharmaceutically is a replacement, hence otherwise medication is another addiction, whereby there's most people which are comfortable with medication and they take it as normal. So basically the pharmaceutical industry is just out there to make money, hence that's why I usually say this. It's very scary and it's very difficult to say that, but addiction is a created phrase. It's a marketing incentive. It's a project of marketing for the pharmaceutical industry to continue running, unfortunately. Because the reality says that pharmaceutical industry needs to have clients for them to produce. And how do they have clients? They have to create diseases. They have to diagnose. So by diseases being out there, remember addiction is a disease, it's a chronic disease. Hence it's said that it cannot be cured but rather be put at rest, which I purely scrap out. Addiction is a behavioral disorder of choice, which you decide as an individual that I'm taking this route. Because think about this, there's people who smoke 4 joints, 2 joints for a week, then forever will never do it. It's cool. Uzopinda yenze maybe after 4 years or after 10 years, at 2 joints, like more experience, but we are was a young child. There's not a pattern in the mind of the narcotics. Why? Because one may say, no, this one does not have the disease, this one has a disease. But the medical field itself has tried to diagnose addiction as a disease so that they can make money out of addiction. Meaning addiction is a phrase of marketing which makes the pharmaceutical industry to stand.
As somebody who has a psychologist and who has suffered from depression, I refuse to take medication for depression because I didn't understand how you want to suppress my emotions. Because I don't have an emotional problem. Okay, I do have an emotional problem, but I don't see how that is a medical problem. So I decided that I'm going to study psychology just for this.
Sure.
And there's a therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yes. Apparently it works. I've tried it. Okay, me and my therapist have tried it, but we didn't finish the session because I was then employed and then the company was paying for the medical aid and then I had to stop. But I would like to believe that it works.
Yeah.
And it does not include drugs. It just has to change the way you think.
Your neuromechanical setup.
Thank you.
It's a neuromechanical, because remember the neurological system setup is set up to reproduce itself in a cell form. Hence every cell embodies some sort of an ideology which recreates a bigger ideology in the form of the formation or separation of the frontal cortex from the midbrain. You understand? Hence otherwise the neuromechanical system, it's the system which uses to suppresses comfortability, in the sense that one unleashes the vision set out by the frontal cortex by means of influencing the midbrain adequately to its human survival duty, in simple terms. Hence otherwise one may come forth with an argument saying it also requires some sort of medication for which it be balanced out, but spirituality therefore kicks in.
Sure.
It replaces the medical part of it, because spirituality enables one, not religion, spirituality enables one to unleash a inner spiritual power which enables them to be in control of any thought which becomes the soul, the consciousness of self. is therefore controlled easily by the consciousness of self, spiritual being. Remember that the physical being is the last person. So by means of entertaining the pharmaceutical process or the anti-neuromechanical or the what you just said, and basically opposes the fact that one cannot do it. I mean to say on himself,
On themselves.
by himself, which is a lie. Human beings are made to become not inevitable, but they are genetic. Remember, there's immortality and genetic. Immortality lives forever. Those are the people which usually they've got a lower birth rate. They don't actually give birth. Biologically, it's proven that way. Hence, otherwise, they become selfless in some sort. Then we become what genetic in the sense of releasing ourselves by means of reproduction. By reproducing yourself in the form of another human being, you pass on your genetic formation to another being. By so doing, the neurological formation is more of balancing the midbrain so that you can visualize better. That's it. Which is what we are not taught as the black child. The white man is taught that sex, survival, it's reproduction, it's there. Sporty is mating with Shelly, the dogs. They call them to see that process so that they can be clear about a certain instinct in their mind in terms of their growth. It's not disturbed. That's it. Young child. We close down with the fear. It's on question,
That's why you have too much teenage pregnancy.
Exactly, because Sivala out. They're out there. They take a boy child to work. A boy child to entity, and take a girl child to work. They embrace themselves as corporate equal.
It's more like they live in reality.
They live in reality, exactly. Hence, they know that mid-brain with reproduction, it's defending yourself. You don't go around picking fights. But when someone asks you or becomes in an argument with you, become sexual, you answer them what they need. Don't talk to strangers. That's defensive. Every animal have got that defensive nature. Don't talk to strangers. That's being what? Fighting. It's defensive. It's a mechanism.
So with us, fighting is only physical.
Making us bullies, making us victim of GPH assault.
So this, I think our educational system, when it comes to us black people,
Don't start there. I don't want to talk about the